About 6 weeks before I was heading back to work with my first child, and I got a message saying my daycare provider had decided to close at the end of summer. Being the type A person I was, who was looking for daycare options when I was pregnant, this was a huge blow. Thankfully, I hadn't returned back to work yet and was able to do some major recon work and found the most wonderful woman who ran a home daycare that we've been attending for 5 years. Hi, I'm Laura Tolhook, owner of Essential HR. I've worked with some of the biggest players in the restaurant, retail, and hospitality world. And now with my team of HR rock stars, I work with dozens of small businesses to offer practical guidance and hands-on support to navigate your employee issues and create solid practices. Childcare crises are stressful. As an employer, you may wonder, what do I have to do when an employee comes to me needing to rearrange their work schedule due to childcare conflicts? Each situation must be considered on a case-by-case basis. You have to consider both your legal requirements to accommodate as well as the best practices for your business. The case law in Ontario is still emerging in regards to what an employer's responsibility is when an employee has childcare obligations that interfere with a work schedule. What has been established is that family status is a protected ground under the Ontario Human Rights Code. This means that employers cannot discriminate against employees based on family status, and employers are required to accommodate issues of childcare up until undue hardship. That doesn't mean an employee needs to be accommodated based on their childcare preferences. For example, an employee cannot ask for an accommodation to start work late because they want to walk their child to school every morning and would prefer not to pay for before or after daycare. However, where an employee is faced with a significant childcare problem that they are unable to resolve through their own means, then the employer will need to evaluate the organization's responsibility to accommodate. If it's determined that the employer is required to accommodate an employee's childcare obligations, then all the parties need to understand that accommodation is a two-way street. The employee cannot demand the accommodation that they wish to have, and the employer must be understanding of the employee's needs. Remember, employees are required to self-accommodate and attempt to resolve the childcare problems through their own means if possible. Accommodation can also look different depending on the size of the organization and what may be considered undue hardship. A larger organization has more resources to accommodate an employee compared to a smaller one. For example, an independent bookstore that is open 10 to 6 daily has less flexibility to offer a variety of shifts compared to an international department store with thousands of employees working various shifts. Temporary accommodation solutions are often another alternative to assisting in childcare conflicts. It gives employees a timeline to find a solution and reprieve from the stress of the situation. What are the employer's responsibilities when managing one-off cases of childcare conflicts, though? Life happens, and usually at the most inconvenient of times. Kids get lice, childcare providers call in sick, a snow day closes the schools. Balancing the obligations of work and family is tough. Employees are going to be less productive if they're stuck at work while worrying about a sick child or trying to make alternate childcare arrangements. Employers who adopt a flexible and understanding approach to managing these types of situations have a workforce that is much more likely to stay with them and reports higher job satisfaction. The challenge is being fair and consistent across the organization and how the application of flexibility is introduced. Without consistency and communication, there could be internal conflict and allegations of preferential treatment. Do you know how you would handle a specific accommodation issue? We get it. There's a lot of complexity in the situation. Do you wish you had someone on speed dial that could talk you through and give you a course of action that you could be confident in? Contact us. We can help you understand your accommodation obligations and the next steps in ensuring that you are protected and your employees are understood.